Hello and welcome back to Homegrown Florida. I'm Katrina and today we're going to be talking about my top 4 vegetables to grow during the summer. Florida can be a very inhospitable environment to grow in during the summer. This is because of our extreme heat, an incredible amount of humidity, and we get an extreme amount of bugs because of those two factors. Lots of Florida gardeners actually put their beds to bed during the summer and then grow the rest of the year. I love to grow year round, but this means I have to be incredibly selective of what I'm growing during the summer because I do not want to be out here more than I have to be. So the 4 plants that I have picked are plants that require minimal maintenance, love the sun, don't care if they get chewed up and eaten up by bugs, and tend to be a lot better against things like blight and fungal issues that we experience due to the humidity. My number 1 favorite plant to grow during the summer are sweet potatoes. This is a Beauregard variety, which is an orange type sweet potato, but I've grown white, purple, pretty much any kind of sweet potato will grow during the summer here in Florida. Now, be sure to know that these guys create intense vines. You can trellis them up, but what I do is simply throw them back into the bed whenever they're starting to fall out. Another thing to remember is that they have a very long growing season, about 4 to 6 months. So this bed is going to be dedicated the entire summer, which is perfect for me because very little things grow. You'll want to get them in the ground at least by June so that way you can have sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. Another really great thing about this crop is it makes an immense amount of biomass, as well as it's a great cover crop for your garden. If you want to know more about how to start sweet potatoes in your garden, check out my video on growing sweet potatoes from slips. Another plant I love to grow during the summer are peppers. And in particular, I like to grow the California Wonder bell pepper. I'm not much into spice, but I grow lots of different kinds of sweet peppers. So I have the bell pepper, I have some snacking peppers, I have some cubanellas, some pepperoncinis, some banana peppers, but you can also grow lots of hot peppers, Anaheim chili peppers, all the way to the hottest atomic habanero. A little bonus information here, make sure to start your peppers anywhere from March to May. Just warm enough that they germinate, but with no cool weather in sight. If you wait till the dead of summer, they get very, very hard to germinate and keep alive through their very long seedling stage. Another one of my favorite plants to grow during the summer are these little adorable Everglade tomatoes. Most tomato plants will actually have a really hard time during the summer with blight and heat, and even worse, they actually will flower and then the flowers will drop if it gets above 90 degrees. So you're going to be growing this big old plant and it's not going to produce. But these Everglade tomatoes flower like crazy and then produce and ripen in the fastest amount of time I've ever seen a tomato ripen. They are pretty tiny, and they have a problem that every time you pull them off, they do break, but I love them. They are the best little tomato. I use them in everything. Roasted vegetables, salad, pasta dishes, you name it. Now this little guy doesn't look too hot. He does have some blight issues, but of all the tomato varieties I've grown, and I've grown a lot, he is handling this far better than any other plant that I have ever had. Another cool thing about Everglades is if you allow a couple of these tomatoes to completely ripen on the vine and then naturally drop down, take a little bit of soil and dump it on top, you're gonna end up with tons of tomato plants in this little patch in your next spring and summer. So they basically reseed themselves. It's crazy. My fourth favorite variety is this monster right here. This is called a Puerto Rican black bean. They're not super common, so it might be hard to find the seeds. I got these seeds from the Urban Harvest. I'll place their link in the description below. This bean plant is great for a number of reasons. One, if you want, you can eat them as green beans as long as you pick them when they're immature. You can see right here, I do have one of the flowers coming in right here and lots of pollinators flying around. It's such a beautiful little purple and pink flower. Another way that you can eat them is to cut them open when they're just starting to bulk out, but they're still in a green pod. And you can use them like peas. But my personal favorite way is to let them completely dry on the vine and break them apart as a dry bean, a black dry bean. They are prolific. They take a while, as you can see, they take a while to flower. This guy has gotten quite large and is even bending my trellis down before he's even started flowering. But that's okay, because when they do flower, they give you 15 to 20 beans per pod, and this entire thing is going to be completely covered with pods. And just to give you an idea, this is only 4 plants. As an added bonus, this guy not only produces an immense amount of food, it's actually a great cover crop, as you can see, and it's also really good at nitrogen fixing since it is part of the bean plant family. If you're one of those that have always put their beds to rest during the summer, I'm just going to strongly encourage you to give a try to a couple of these items. In particular, the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, or these Puerto Rican black beans. They require nothing. Once I put them in, I don't water them, I don't fertilize them, I don't treat them for bugs. I basically forget about them, and they thrive on neglect. But also, don't forget about your peppers and tomatoes, because who can live without tomatoes and a little bit of spice in your life? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.